Fresh is the word.
Welcome to the Fresh is the Word podcast. I'm your host, K Fresh. We're at episode 15. It's January 28th, 2016. And there's a lot of cool shit going on. Currently, in my real life, I'm, on vacation from my day job. And no, I don't do any sort of music thing or writing thing or whatever for my main day job. I do crappy tech support for my main day job, and the job sucks. Job really sucks, and I'm glad to be away from it, but at the same time I keep thinking about it because I'm trying to think of ways to get out of it because I've been at that job for 10 and a half years now. So that's my main goal in life right now, is to find out what's next, how to build myself a platform to sustain in life, to make money in a different way, not just a crappy day job. And I hate when people say, well, it pays the bills. Of course I know that. I already know that. Quit telling me that. Don't ever tell anybody that. That does not make anybody feel better. They're comfortable in knowing that, but it doesn't make anybody feel better. So I don't know what to do next because it's such I don't know what I want to do. I know what I'm good at, but the stuff that I'm good at, I don't know if I'm happy doing it anymore. So I'm at those crossroads right now, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. If anybody has any suggestions, anybody want to hire me to do anything, writing, music thing, wrestling thing, whatever, drop me an email, questions@freshasthepodcast.com, or you can email me at the djkfresh@gmail.com. That's my personal email. And that'd be fucking great, but I don't know what I want to do. So I'm trying to take this time away from that job to kind of figure that out. And honestly, doing this podcast for the past few months has opened me up a lot to make me think about things like that, and again, really get in touch with, what I want to be doing in life. So I feel like I need to leave that job soon, or I'm going to kill myself or crack or snap on somebody because I'm definitely not feeling well at that. Enough of that bullshit aside. Let's talk a little wrestling. This past Raw on Monday night was a great episode in fallout of the Royal Rumble. Got to see my favorite wrestler in the world, AJ Styles, in his first singles match against Chris Jericho. That's a match that so many of us have been waiting to see for forever, and it was a really good match. Chris Jericho, he might be a little past his prime, he's a little slow in the ring, but AJ Styles is really good at selling, and he's fucking phenomenal, man. It's the phenomenal AJ Styles. So it was great to finally, I'm still emotional about him being in the WWE. It's where he belongs. He should be on the top stage, the center stage of all professional wrestling, and that's where he is right now. One of the funniest moments had to do with the Social Outcasts. They were in the ring cutting a promo with Flo Rida, and Flo Rida has the official theme song of WrestleMania, and WWE has the worst official theme songs sometimes. But they did a whole segment together. But the funny thing is, Bo Dallas went into a rap battle with Flo Rida, and I think the intention was to put over Flo Rida, but in the end, they unintentionally put over Bo Dallas because it was hilarious, and Bo Dallas's rhymes were actually better than Flo Rida. Flo Rida ain't got no rhymes. Flo Rida really isn't a rapper. He kind of raps, but he's more of just a pop artist. So that was kind of a funny moment. It looks like they're setting up more towards a triple threat match at some point. I don't know if it's going to be at the next pay-per-view Fastlane or at WrestleMania in the Divas division between Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and oh my god, I'm being an idiot right now. Oh, and Sasha Banks. Oh my, I can't believe, why did I forget about Sasha Banks, man? Oh, she's the best, man. But there was a Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch match on Monday, and it looked like it was about to be lit, but then Charlotte came in and started just beating everybody up, so they're definitely setting up some sort of triple threat match. So hopefully that goes down at WrestleMania, and they just give them enough time to really cook on that. The end of Raw came, there was just a tag team match between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus the League of Nations. Ended pretty much with Roman Reigns giving some retribution to Rusev from what he when Rusev put him through a table at the Royal Rumble. So Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns put Rusev through the table. But in the end, because early on in Raw, there was the decision that the Authority would come out and select what the main event for the next pay-per-view Fastlane would be, and that match would be, whoever wins that match would be the number one contender for the heavyweight belt at WrestleMania to go against Triple H. So at the end of Raw, it ended with that decision being made. And at Fastlane, it's going to be a triple threat match. It's going to be Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns versus the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. So that should be pretty lit. And guess what? Raw is coming to Detroit the day after Fastlane. So whatever happens to the next pay-per-view, we get to see the fallout of that here in Detroit. So I'm fucking geeked. And speaking of local events here, this Saturday, NXT is coming to Detroit at the Royal Oak Music Theater. My brother bought tickets for me and him. So I'm really excited to be at the first NXT show that's happening in Michigan. So definitely we'll tell you what happens from that. Other wrestling I really want to talk about is TNA wrestling. It's being very, very under. It's not being talked about that much. They just started on Pop TV. I don't know who gets fucking Pop TV. It's some sort of station. I guess it used to be the TV Guide Network, whatever, and they reformatted it to call it Pop TV. And TNA Wrestling, TNA Impact Wrestling, is kind of like one of their flagship shows now. It's been on for 4 weeks now, and I've been able to catch it in my own ways. And the product is so much better than what it used to be when it was on Destination America or even before that. They really kind of eased back on the programming. They're not so in your face. They're not so just about everything, the storyline's a little bit simpler. They're not going into all these super complicated things where you're just like, what the hell's going on? I need a playbook to understand what the hell's going on. But right now, not this past week, but previous week, there was a last man standing match between Matt Hardy against the champion EC3. And in the end, Matt Hardy just did a crazy heel turn and was able to win the TNA belt with help from EC3's former sort of bodyguard, Titus. And so now Titus is on Matt Hardy's side. Matt Hardy's a heel. He's called Big Money Matt Hardy. He has his wife on his side. He's kind of taking things now. It's a really cool thing that's going on. And now he's kind of feuding with his brother Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy's still a babyface. So it's really cool. One of the coolest things that happened on this past week's TNA Impact Zone was that there's the unveiling of a new stable called the Decay. And it first started with this really crazy looking chick, and her name is Rosemary. She came out, and apparently she's a wrestler that used to be on the indies. Her name is Courtney Rush. And she came out talking all crazy. And then this other wrestler, he goes by, of course, Crazy Steve, came out to join her. But then it was the biggest unveil was the third member, Abyss. So you got Abyss, Crazy Steve, and Rosemary. Just three crazy-looking freaking people in this clique called the Decay. So that was really cool. They went up against the Wolves. They stole before. I guess they stole the Wolves tag team belts. So that was really cool. And one of my favorite things that's going on in Impact Wrestling right now is the was the debut of Mike Bennett and Marie Kanellis of the Kingdom. We know him as the Kingdom in Ring of Honor, but they came over. They got hired by TNA, and they have this sort of gimmick of being the Miracle, like the Miracle Mike Bennett. You know, he's here to save professional wrestling. He's here to build a kingdom, and dude, I just totally love it. It's at first you might think it's a little corny, but if you just really listen to it, it's a really great gimmick, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what comes with that, and hopefully Mike Bennett gets a shot at the TNA belt. So I'm really excited to see what goes on in TNA because I feel like they're finally stepping back and starting to develop their talent instead of being so reactionary with everything. So more good wrestling is better for the whole industry. So I really want TNA to really get together and strive to be a good company. Okay, so that's enough talking with that. Okay, this week's guest on the podcast is one of my favorite hip hop artists from the past 5 years, and he came on here to not talk about music, to talk about wrestling. So we talked a whole lot about wrestling. I think a few of the things we talked about might be a little bit outdated now because we talked maybe like a week and a half ago, and some things have happened in the Royal Rumble and on Raw already. But we definitely talked about a lot of just vague wrestling things. So my guest this week is Brooklyn, New York, MC, Mr. Motherfucking eXquire. I was so super stoked to be able to get him for the podcast. He's been one of my favorites. He's done a whole string of mixtapes over the past 5 years or so, and he did put out an EP through Universal Republic a few years ago, but that deal kind of went sour real quick. He didn't even really want to talk about it. I was trying to touch upon it in the interview, you'll hear, but he don't give a fuck about talking about that shit anymore. So but we had a really good chat about wrestling in general. Then even after the fact, during the Royal Rumble, me and him, texted each other back a few times about what happened. He wasn't really happy with what happened at the end of Royal Rumble with Triple H winning. I understand it. We all kind of understood that was going to happen. It wasn't much of a shocker. So let's get to the interview with Mr. Motherfucking eXquire.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Hey, shit, man. Ready to rant about wrestling? I want to rant. You know what I'm saying? Ready to rant.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Not to just blow smoke up your ass, but I'm really excited to talk to you because you've definitely been one of my favorite rappers from the past 5 years.
Oh, word.
And since around 2011 when you came out with the Lost in Translation mixtape, I've definitely been just following your career and whatnot. So it's really cool to be able to talk with you. So thanks for taking the time out.
Yo, you had me at wrestling. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Word, yeah, because I've always noticed you're a big wrestling fan, and I see that you've you follow WWE, follow New Japan. What's some of the stuff you've been looking into these days?
I watch everything, son. Like I watch everything, like everything. But I just got into New Japan probably like a year ago when Jim Ross did Wrestle Kingdom last year.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, Jim Ross. I watched it just to see him, and then I seen everybody. I was like, oh, this shit is crazy, and that's kind of how I got into it. But I mix out on some shit. But when I could catch it, I catch it. Like I watched Wrestle Kingdom last week or whatever. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that was a crazy event, and
I didn't get to see Tanahashi and Okada yet though. I've been busy, but I seen everything else. Like I seen AJ, I seen AJ and Nakamura. I seen all the other shit. But I didn't get to see the last match, so don't tell me nothing. But I already know who won, but don't tell me nothing.
No, I won't tell you any details, but it was a really good match. It was really good.
Yeah, I heard that. Everybody saying that. But I don't want to see them fight again. Like I'm sick of them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
That
taking on that.
that's one of the things about New Japan is like you see like in some way or shape or form like the same combinations of matches so much.
Yeah. See that? WWE is like that too.
Right. But
Like you'll see them on Monday, then they'll fight on SmackDown. Like I'll win today, then you'll win on Tuesday. Then we'll fight the pay per view again. Then that Monday we'll do a rematch. Like that's how you doing it.
and then they'll take like, three different sort of rivalries, put them all together as a six-man match.
Yeah, 6-man tag. then it's a DQ. Kane comes down. Corporate Kane comes down. It's a DQ. You know how they do. You can just paint my numbers.
Definitely. When did you originally get into wrestling?
Man, I've been into wrestling since like 1990. I started watching wrestling in WrestleMania 6.
Okay.
Ultimate Challenge, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior.
All right.
Yeah. That's my first. I had the tape, Toronto Sky Dome. So I had the VHS for a long time. I probably lost it like 3 years ago. I had it for a long time, but yeah, that was like that's what got me into wrestling. So ever since then, I've been watching wrestling. WCW, WWF, EC, everything. Like I just always was a big wrestling dude. So yeah, all day.
Right. Yeah. When I was a little kid, I watched it. This is like the late '80s and stuff. And then I kind of went away from it until like the mid '90s when the whole Monday Night Wars would start, NWO.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
All that stuff came into play again, and that was just like a really special time because like it was just like a huge part of like pop culture at that time.
Yeah, sure.
People like Steve Austin and The Rock
Mm-hmm.
became these figures that were just a part of pop culture, just like the same way like Hogan and Macho Man were in the '80s.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you had it on both ends too, because you had like the NWO. Everybody knew them. Everybody knew everything. Like DX was popping. Everything. Like the average person knew wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? Now it's not like that so much. Like you couldn't really go to somebody and say, "Oh, Roman Reigns." They wouldn't really know. You got to really be in a wrestling to know wrestling, which is not a bad thing, But
Right.
well, yeah.
But I think what's happened these days is while maybe the WWE isn't as big a part of pop culture as other parts, other times, the sort of the other companies and like a lot of the independents are really kind of popping on a more organic, underground level.
Yeah, it's like rap, right?
Yeah, it really is
Like rap.
like
Mm-hmm.
you have like PWG out in LA. You have like
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor. You have all these. You got Chikara Pro. You have all these Evolve and Lucha Underground.
Dragon Gate, all types of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and they all kind of have their own identities too. So
Yeah.
they all start to kind of they've been kind of popping on their own. And it's really an
And then
exciting time.
it's just like rap. It's just like rap in a sense, because it's like they dudes get a buzz and they get popping independently, and then they get signed. You know what I'm saying? Like they get signed to the major, like WWE. It's the same shit. Like it's literally it mirrors it so crazy when you think about it. Like you could take like Seth Rollins is like ASAP Rocky and some shit. It's like the same shit. Like this was indie, and then you got a buzz, you got signed, and you went through developmental. Like it's just like rap. It's the same shit. Like
Right.
this shit is very interesting.
Right, and kind of you know, paralleling, kind of comparing to your time. I remember back around 2011 when you were starting to pop in all the blogs and whatnot. Huzzah came out. You did the remix, the video, and you were kind of a part of this sort of class of different sort of rappers. You had Tyler, you had Danny Brown, you had Aesop, you had guys like that, and it was sort of like this weirdo crew of MCs and rappers that were kind of coming out. Um, I do, and I remember you, eventually got signed to, Universal Republic at the
I
time.
got signed with WWE.
Yeah, Like,
Yeah.
do you
I
feel
was
like?
in NXT for a little while. I'm like one of my best friends is Chris Hero. I don't know if you know Chris Hero.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my best friends. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
But
word. Okay.
yeah, that's my nigga, man. That's my brother. But yeah, like we always laugh. I always laugh and tell him like we had like the same career and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we always laugh about the guy because he was like he was around with like Punk and Brian and Cesaro or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like he was in the tag team with Cesaro, then he went to WWE and they worked out. Now you're in the independence and he's like killing shit. Like I don't know if you've seen his work lately, but it's just been like I think he's like the best he's ever been. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's you know, it's just part of the game. It's, you know, just to parallel it once again. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just, you know, so I just look at it like I'm just like Rap's Chris Hero. You know what I'm saying? And like even like times when I was like frustrated with music, I would talk to him. He'd be like, "Man, fuck that shit. You yo, kill these niggas out, kill them." So it's just I don't know. It just be like that. It's just interesting. It's interesting how things parallel, man.
Do you feel like when you got signed to Universal Republic, they were just kind of trying to cash in on that sort of underground hype that was kind of coming around with those sort of artists at that time?
I don't really give a fuck about none of that shit. Like that shit was like 5 years ago, so like I was like 25 years old and I didn't really care. Like you know, it's kind of over now, so I don't know what they were trying to do. I couldn't tell you. To be honest, you know, it's over now.
Right, right, right. Um, so what's your when what's going on in the WWE right now? What's your thoughts about some of the storylines that are going on right now?
Shit, man, it's kind of whack. You know what I'm saying? I think that I think it's a little too corporate and sterile now. You know what I'm saying? Like just as far as the creativity of it is not necessarily there. They trying to get it to like an assembly line type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like how you hear the same song on the radio every day, even though it's different people, but they all sound the same.
Right.
And I feel like that's what wrestling is kind of becoming like. You know, it's so formulaic and it's not organic that it doesn't. If you're a long time fan, it doesn't really thrill you like that. It's kind of like Disney on Ice. Like they go. You know how Disney on Ice, they may go and do the same show in Toronto that they do in New York, that they do in Cali. You know, it's the same show.
Right.
Traveling circus kind of. And wrestling was always like a soap opera. That week to week it would change. You want to see what's going to happen next week, who's going to betray who. But like now it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like, to me anyway, it's just like they try to they try to make the same show every week. So like say you never watched it before,
Yeah.
you can follow it. That's how they try to make it to me. Like it's just like the exact same thing. Like okay, like if somebody has a catchphrase, they'll tell you what it means. Like like Bray Wyatt to come out, they'll say, "Oh yeah, he calls those his fireflies." Like when everybody has their phone up, it's like, "Yo, I say this every fucking week. Like we know this by now." But
right.
they try to create these buzzwords. Divas Revolution every week. So like if somebody never seen it, they're gonna watch it and be like, "Oh, okay, yeah," they could follow along. But it's a detriment to the people who watch it every week religiously because it's like we're watching the same shit over and over again. Like that's all. It just becomes the same shit over and over again. So I don't know. This shit is weird. And I'm not even one of those people that like to complain about wrestling a lot, but I just wanted to get my vent on. I told you I was gonna rant a little bit.
That's all good.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely there's definitely like a high level of corporate marketing branding that goes on a regular basis on WWE's product, and the funny thing is, like, every once in a while you will kind of get something that came from sort of a low risk thing that was kind of organic, like something like the whole New Day thing recently.
Yeah, they came off with that, right?
It's funny, when it first started, they were trying to be this whole like kind of positivity sort of thing, and everybody hated it. Everybody hated it. It was just flailing, but then they just kind of let them sort of play with it and expand it, and it really hit with everything. But
doesn't that show you how good it could be if they didn't control every fucking thing? Like everything is scripted now, and that's the problem with it. And they wonder why people be like mad all the time. It's just like when Daniel Bryan was popping, like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
But when D-Rod was popping, it was like they did everything to try to make him not like. They're like, don't like him. Like I never seen no shit like that in my life. Like
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like how you don't want us to like him, you know, and it made people like him more. That's why they could never bring him back to wrestle again. You know, like I'm sure he can wrestle now, but like they'll never let him wrestle again because the more like they try to hide him from people. When he comes back, he's just gonna be bigger.
Right.
And they don't want him to be big. You know what I'm saying? So like the New Day, they got over organically. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't know what to do with them, so they start coming. They was writing their own promos, and they come with a whole bunch of black shit anyway. They don't know. Vince probably don't know the references he do throwing in
Hell no, he
promos.
doesn't.
You know, nah. So they getting away with it because they verbiage is like, you know, they writing it. You know they coming. You know they sitting in the back like, what you want to do this week? Oh, we can do this. That'd be funny. So like, you know, but Vince, I listened to them when it was on Jericho's shit on his podcast, and I think Xavier Woods was like, yeah, when we first did the gimmick, like Vince was upset that people didn't like it. Like he really thought it was crazy. Like he thought that was gonna be some shit. Like he thought like, yeah, they're gonna be like Cena. Like he really thought that. Like
right.
He didn't understand why people didn't like it. You know, he really thought they was gonna be like a popular, fun team for the people. Like so that shows how out of touch he is. Like so that just shows like shit is doomed, man. You gotta watch NXT now, man. So easy to do.
Oh, NXT is great. Like, but like the thing with the New Day thing, that's kind of, it's there's something weird kind of going on right now though. The New Day thing pops so good that it sounds like, to a certain extent, other wrestlers like the Usos and this. They also, have you seen this new stable of Social Outcasts?
Yeah, that shit is whack.
It sounds like the Social Outcasts and the Usos are trying to kind of cash in on the sort of New Day style.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Like rap, once again, you know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like when someone pops off with something organically, next thing you know, you have a slew of rappers after that,
mm-hmm.
you know, biting that style, you know, and that's something I feel like is very dangerous for WWE because it's like, it's gonna burn them all out, you know.
Mhm.
And
I see that. The New Day is kind of getting played out too a little bit, you know. It's weird, but you know they just don't have nobody to, like. You know what I was thinking? This is my fantasy booking right here.
All right.
This is mine. I was like, they kind of playing out because they don't have nobody to compete with them. Like now they feuding with like Jericho and the Usos. Like
yeah.
Nobody wants to see Jericho no more, man. Get him out of here. You know what I mean? Like, it's time for it's like this young nigga movement got to come in. Like, nobody want to hear Big Daddy Kane right now. He's great, but nobody want to hear him right now. So, what I was thinking, I was like, yo, they need Enzo and Cass to come up and shoot with them, because that would be crazy, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree with you more.
yeah. Like, now is the time. Like, okay, like, I think right after Royal Rumble or something, now you got to bring, because Enzo and Cass, they've been in NXT for like 100 years, you know? So I'm thinking, like, anybody that's a good heel, they need somebody to rival them. Like, you can't just have them come out there or every week and just talk, because people going to be like, all right, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're not even, who you mad at? What's the problem? Like, these dudes, that's why they playing out like that, because they don't have nobody to play them. You know, imagine if they had Enzo to play off. You know, like, that would be crazy.
That would be phenomenal. And
you can run that to WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like, all day. You know what I mean?
What was crazy about the New Day, though, there was this 1 week on Raw, I believe, this was months back, where they ended Raw with the New Day laying out all the top guys in the company. Like Cena.
Yeah, they came off. I've seen that.
And they came off as these, for that time, they came off as not the funny, entertaining New Day, as these guys that were just wrecking shit, you know?
Yeah, he's putting in that work. Yeah.
But they did not, you know,
continue it
at all. They just, you know, it was just for that week. And I feel like if they extended that, where these guys were just coming out and just laying people out,
whooping some ass,
it would have been, like, at this point, it would be, like, so much better for them.
Yeah, they need a dark side, because they are heels. Like, they are bad. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they do need to whoop some ass. I never thought about that. You know, you're right. Like, they need to be, like, funny, but still have that ruthlessness.
Right, where when you just hit that, like, with a flick of switch, like, they just turn, just clear the ring out, just lay out everybody, you know?
Yeah, sure. Because, you know, it's funny as you say that, because as entertaining as they are, you still don't really take them, even they've been champs for a minute, too, but you don't really take them serious as, okay, they can whoop this dude, they can whoop these guys' ass, or, you know, they'll probably pull it off on some funny shit,
Right.
but, like, they really need to be whooping some ass. Because, I mean, you got Big E, that dude is humongous, like, you know, he could whoop the average dude's ass, like, it's not like, you know what I'm saying, like, it's not believable, you know?
Right.
But I don't know. That's true. That's true. They do need to kind of get a vicious streak. But nobody has a fucking vicious streak in wrestling anymore. Like, who whoops that? Brock is the only one that whoops anybody's ass. Like,
right.
Everybody's a fucking game. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking game to everybody. Like, Ryback is a big bodybuilding motherfucker. Can't beat nobody up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that made no sense.
Right. And
who you scared of? Who's anybody scared of in wrestling?
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
the thing that's really missing. And it's just like the moments that they like hint at these mean streaks, people love it.
Yeah,
And then,
true.
like recently, that first time when Roman Reigns started laying people out after he lost and got screwed, he started laying people out, laying out Triple H, and the crowd just switched and loved him instantly when he did that.
Because he's not funny, and like that's why they played. They played themselves with him. I'm not I'm a writer, so I guess I'm creative and shit. But like, I feel like with him, how they fucked him up, because he's like the champion, but he's like kind of like not the champion. He has the belt, but it's like he don't feel like a champion.
Right.
You've been watching wrestling a long time. You know what a champion feels like, you know?
Right.
Like, he doesn't feel like one. It's like when, I remember the first time, I don't know if you've been watching wrestling that long, but like, when Kurt Angle won the belt the first time.
Yes.
And like, he was the champion, but he didn't really feel like the champion. Like, it was like The Rock was still the champion, and Stone Cold was the champion. Kurt Angle was the champ. He had the belt, but he didn't respect it. Like, it was like, all right. When he wanted, he later on he became. I mean, Kurt Angle was the shit from day one, but I mean, it wasn't right yet. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I feel with Roman. I just feel like he got the belt, but I mean, he's a 2-time champion already. He'll probably be 3-time champion by WrestleMania.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't that some shit?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I feel like they needed to let him be like a loner, mean motherfucker. Like, people loved when he came out, he was whooping ass. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. They kind of talking about suffering, succotash, and all this silly shit. Like, he's not The Rock. Like, that's his cousin, but he ain't funny like that. And then you can't write funny shit. Like, them dudes, because it's on the person that's delivering the promo. Like, you can't script somebody some funny shit if they're not a naturally funny person, you know? So, I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm on that kid, man.
Right.
Lukewarm on him. Yeah.
Right. If with Roman, if he just doesn't come off as somebody when he's just always doing these smiling and stuff. You
don't need to do that. You don't need that.
Nah.
I seen him. Have you gone? Have you gone to any events lately? Or
I haven't, but they are coming back to Detroit for a Raw next month.
Oh, you need to get to it, man.
Oh yeah,
get to it.
I already got my ticket.
Yeah, I seen him at I seen Roman. I went to a house show. I seen him. He's dope live, man. I seen him twice actually. Cause I went to the Raw before WrestleMania, before 30 when Taker lost.
Yeah. I
went to that one when the Shield was still together. I went to that one. And he's dope in person. Like, Roman is dope in person. Like, you see him, he looks like a star. Like, he doesn't look like the average dude you see walking down the street. Like, he looks dope. And like, people like him too. When I went to the house show a couple months ago, people liked him. You know what I mean? Like, he could, he could do it. But it's just, they're just trying to force it. Even with this new shit they got going on with him and Vince. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, it's not even really, like, entertaining. I mean, you've seen it so many times, like, Vince versus somebody. Like, we've seen it so many times. Just do something else. Like, all right, let's talk about some good shit. I don't want to complain no more, man.
Let's talk about NXT.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like, who's some of the people you like in NXT?
I like everybody in NXT. I don't think it's anybody I dislike.
Right.
I don't. You know who I don't like? I don't want to go to. I don't like the new dude, Elias Sampson, the Drifter.
Oh yeah.
Nah, he's trash.
I kind of like him though, but I don't know. I don't know. I just maybe like the Drifter type, but I don't know. I
like his look. I don't like the gimmick. I like his look though.
I think I like the look more than like the gimmick itself or whatever. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. I liked Bull Dempsey because he's from Brooklyn, so I had, I fuck with him off the top. Who else? I mean, I like Finn. I love Oscar, man. I'm in love with that chick.
Asuka is gonna be. I think Asuka could be a big deal. Uh,
Yeah, she could.
just she's very entertaining in the ring, very very athletic, and the thing, and from a corporate standpoint, she's definitely a a merch machine. If you
Yes,
look at it,
yes.
the masks, the T-shirts, and everything,
Yeah,
the little girls are already buying that shit.
yeah, yeah.
So
Her and Bailey, they got something with them soon.
yeah, with Asuka
Little
and
girls
Bailey,
gonna love Bailey.
they're
Yeah,
definitely gonna be big entities in wrestling because you love watching them, but there's so much to kind of gravitate towards in their own little universe.
yeah, sure, sure.
I'm always scared that Asuka's gonna like legit hurt somebody though,
Yeah, she heard Dana Brooke, I think. She fucked that shit up.
because
That's why Dana's out.
she still has that Japanese sort of strong style,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know if these other women are used to that shit.
yeah, they're not used to that. But you know what benefits them is they all in training, so it's not like they've been wrestling 10 years and this bitch just come kicking their fucking head off. Like they learning to take those kicks early on, so they good. She know how to do it too. I'm sure she makes it look better than it feels. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Dana Brooke too. I like Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is dope, man.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on her. She's gonna be some shit.
Oh,
She's
definitely.
dope.
I
I
feel
think she's gonna be something.
I feel like there's been a lot of good, women wrestling in that's come out of NXT.
Yeah, when they get to the main roster, it's over. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
can enjoy them. It's over. Like, oh my god, like it's just crazy. But you can enjoy them in NXT. But when they go up, you just gotta let them go.
Right, because some of my favorite just wrestling matches period were stuff like Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That one, the Bailey versus Sasha Banks at Brooklyn Takeover.
Yeah, I was there. I was there live for that one. That was crazy. That was intense.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I would love to have been at that show.
Yo, that show was fucking crazy. Yo, in his own cast, they killed it. You know what I'm saying? Yo, who's fucking dope too? Speaking of tag team, Dash and Dawson, kid.
Oh yeah, dude.
They ill, son.
They're like a couple Arn Andersons.
Yo, they ill, son. They ill. Like people sleeping on them. I like them. I like Blake and Murphy too, man.
Yeah, those are some good tag teams.
Yeah.
And
And
oh,
Alexa Bliss, she got the little fatty.
oh yeah,
She got the chunky. Yeah, that shit is nice.
small but fierce.
Yeah, that shit is real. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
But
and also I really like Chad Gable and Jordan.
Jordan and Gable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they crazy. They remind you of like Kurt Angle, like Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas type shit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
They crazy. Kid.
And Gable just has that great just line where it's just ready, willing, and come on, say it with me.
Come on, man. Come on. Yeah. And it's like, yo, what bugs me out is like, are these dudes like, why is everybody a good promo in NXT and then they get to the main roster and their promos is trash? Like, I don't get that either. Like, dude is funny. Like, this dude is funny.
Right. I think down there they just have a lot more freedom, and the people that make decisions on the main roster are not doing that in NXT. They're not a part of that, decision
That sounds a
making.
lot.
It's very separated,
Yeah.
So that's why there's so much like freedom down in NXT to to try to work on your characters and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had, like you mentioned before, you have Enzo and Big Cass, and these guys are just doing everything that's ever been cool about like a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
They sort of have that Shawn Michaels and Diesel dynamic.
Yeah, you do.
But, as soon as they come out, they're doing the promos, and they have all these little catchphrases, and everybody loves them,
Mm-hmm. And how you feel about Tyler being in the main roster? How you like him so far up there?
That's something that just kind of fell flat, and it seems like
Yeah,
they're sort of like kind of giving up on it, and
giving up on him, right?
yeah, and he was somebody down in NXT that like his thing was so cool, man. He'd come out with
Yeah,
that
he was really good, man.
he'd come out with that extra swaggy sort of entrance, man.
Yeah, and he plays that character so well, man.
Oh,
Like, he
he's
plays the shit out
in
that
it.
character.
Like him and Kevin Owens are always just kind of in their character always.
Yo,
On social
Kevin Owens gonna
media.
be champ, son, by the end of the year.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
You don't see it?
No, I think he will.
Think about it like this, right? This is how I kind of figured it out. Who else do they make look tough? Like, he's the only one that even looks like a bad guy.
Right.
Like,
right.
it's him and Brock. They the only two. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nobody in Triple H. But Triple H is old, like white kids line. But yeah, like, yo, so I'm telling you, I think he's gonna win the Money in the Bank. That's my bet.
I think Kevin Owens will eventually get something. He'll get
Yeah.
I think he can be that guy, They're definitely, making him look tough, he's on that point right now where he's on that sort of seething, sort of psychotic sort of, anger when he's laying people out,
Yeah, I think so too. KO is crazy, man. You know what I mean? I do it gets busy.
So yeah, and have you been following all the rumors about cats like AJ and Nakamura and Carl Anderson and Gallows coming to WWE?
Yeah, I heard about it. I seen AJ last night say he's gonna be in the Rumble. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, like
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen it when I came from the strip club. I seen that shit. Yeah. Yeah, that shit is crazy, kid. I think Nakamura, I think they're gonna do him like a kind of. I think Oscar, her success kind of made them look at Nakamura like, oh, he could be a male Oscar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's kind of where they're gonna go with him. But when he gets to the main roster, it's over. So you better just enjoy him at NXT, man. Like, it's over. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
I think that out of all the Japanese guys, Nakamura has the possibility to be successful because.
How do you feel about the Tommy?
What's that?
How do you feel about Kenta?
Oh yeah, I love that guy. Unfortunately he got hurt. So it was really kind of. It just kind of stopped where he was, where they were going with him. Mm-hmm. But I feel like even more so with Nakamura, that he, even without saying much, he just like exudes this sort of kind of rock star attitude, so much charisma that I feel like that out of anybody that comes from Japan, like he could be, that guy over here for, some amount of time. I don't know if it would be an extended amount of time, but like I hope all things go well with him because he's one of my favorites on the planet.
Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, he's straight brilliant, man. So I'm just wondering how they're gonna fuck that up. But nah, I hope it goes well, man.
How
you feel AJ's gonna do?
I think with AJ, and like I've read this on other, on other websites and stuff like that. I feel like with AJ, for him to be successful, they gotta like promote him as like, this dude is special. He's been all around the world, and he just he's coming here to prove himself. He doesn't need WWE, but this is like the only place that he really hasn't taken over, and killed it, so I feel like they need to like build him up as that sort of person,
Yeah, who would you like to see him feud with? Like, let's say you just go straight to the main roster. Who is he feuding with?
Man, it's kind of hard these days because everybody like got hurt. Everybody's injured.
Yeah, sure. I forgot about that.
Because like AJ Styles, Seth Rollins thing would
dope.
be awesome. Their matches would be great, you know. Or
Him and Cesaro would be good too.
oh yeah, that would definitely be great.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I hope that he's somebody that they, you know, say this is a special this is something special you're about to witness, you know. And it's funny though, and you already know that WWE is going to totally ignore his TNA past.
Absolutely. They'll probably allude to it. Like, oh, he's been all over the world.
Like that was probably AJ Styles was probably like the one wrestler that TNA can actually say we sort of made this thing happen.
Yeah. Him and like him. EC3 too.
Yeah, EC3 also. That was someone that everybody else kind of slept on, and
yeah, but he'll be in WWF like next year, man. He's coming. You know he's coming. He's coming.
Did you ever did you like going back to Nakamura? Did you ever see the match from like years ago when Nakamura went against Brock Lesnar out in New Japan?
I keep seeing it on YouTube, like in my suggested videos, but I haven't watched it yet. But I heard he was like a different Nakamura back.
Yeah,
like he was a little more clean.
Yeah, it was a little bit more clean, but it was crazy. Like to watch that, you're like, oh my god, this could be something that we could see in WWE. Legitimately.
Yeah, you're gonna need somebody like that to beat Brock because they made him look like Doomsday now. Like he's unbeatable shit. So.
Right, and I feel like that's another thing that they could eventually do is like at this point where Brock's beating everybody, so you have somebody come in and be like, "Oh, I can beat this guy."
Yeah.
I'm, you know, because Nakamura has, you know, he's the king of strong style, you know. You got the king of strong style versus Mr. Suplex City, you know.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
So I feel like that could be something that's...
Because somebody got to beat Brock eventually, right?
Right. Because for years you had this Brock Lesnar that could be beat.
Yeah, I remember that. Absolutely.
But then they brought him back, and now he's a prize fighter, or you know, just does these sort of matches where he just lays the guys out now.
He can't be beat, and I think it's crazy. It's kind of dope, but it's kind of a waste of him too, because he can really wrestle. Like he's not doing a lot of shit that he could do, because he's just like suplex dude. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But he's just busy. Like you know who I want to see come back to is Angle.
Right now he's kind of right now Angle's doing his kind of like farewell tour in TNA.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, TNA just got a new TV deal with Pop TV.
Okay.
And he's doing matches again with them, but it's like a farewell tour, and I don't know if that means farewell from wrestling period or just farewell from TNA. You know.
I mean, as soon as he's done, he's going to the Hall of Fame. He gotta go. You know, one of the greatest of all time. You know.
Definitely.
So,
and because Kurt Angle was somebody that I was just like, I almost like loved to hate him. You know. I liked having him around. You know, because I was like, his like sort of clean cut arrogance that he had, you know, that was just like.
And he's one. I think we all took him for granted, like, you know, because he's so good for so long, consistent.
Oh, definitely. It was just you could always kind of count on him to sort of bring it home, you know.
Yeah. It's like, you know, he's in a match. Oh, that's classic. You know, like off the top, like, oh yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah.
Like you remember back in 2001 when he just had those series of matches with Benoit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Those were just crazy, you know. Those were just so next level and stuff, and yeah, I think that was he was very underestimated. It was just kind of like you just knew that he was.
Even the one, remember he had a bunch of Brock that was crazy.
Yeah, it's like he's always able to bring it home, you know. So that's somebody.
And he's still in pretty good shape. Like he could still go, man. Like he could still go, you know. He said last time he tried to come to the WWE, Triple H didn't want to talk to him. You know, Triple H the one who signs everybody.
Yeah.
He said Triple H was like, nah, we don't need you. Like, I'm like, what? But I guess Triple H know, like, he'll make him look bad. Like, oh yeah, like people will forget about how great I am if this dude come back. I feel like he be on that type of shit. He's a hater. He's a hater. On the low.
There's word that that Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows from the Bullet Club are gonna come to they're coming to WWE also, and I guess the rumors are they'll probably go down to NXT, and they might do the whole like Balor Club thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know. I don't know about that shit. I mean, Finn is dope to me. I think he's a little overrated though. You know what I'm saying? So
apparently recently in house shows they've been having Finn work as a heel at a few of the house shows recently.
Oh, so yeah, he's gonna turn bad. He'll probably be the one that hurt Hideo.
Right, because they
remember somebody hurt Hideo.
Yeah, they never really said who did that, and they alluded to Kevin Owens doing it, but they never really said who hurt.
Or it could have just been Kevin Owens on his bullshit. Like, no, like you don't know. But I think it's probably Balor because he's the one who benefited the most. You know what I mean? So I was thinking that. But that's a good way to turn him heel. And then you got the dudes from Japan that, it's kind of, come with the flow, make it work.
The thing is, I'm really excited to have someone like Carl Anderson come through because he is one of my favorites also, and I just really want him to be a big thing,
Yeah.
I want him to be successful because he's for his size and look, he's actually really athletic and can move around the ring. Has a good move set.
He got a good attitude. He got an old school wrestler attitude.
Yeah, and he's so good on the mic too. So hilarious. Yeah, and I think that he can actually he can go so many ways, Out in Japan and on like his podcast that he would do, he'd be very dirty and shit, Those guys were talking so much. Heard it. Oh, you ever hear the Talking Shop podcast?
Nah.
They, with the new developments, they're on hiatus now, but
Oh yeah, they definitely coming over here. Cause I know Nakamura confirmed it. He spoke about it.
Yeah, and because New Japan stripped him of his IC belt.
Yeah, he's coming.
Yeah,
I think he goes to the Performance Center next month. I saw it online.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the same thing with Anderson and Gallows, that they're gonna be like coming to the Performance Center soon. And
I don't think AJ is gonna do that. AJ don't need that shit, man.
No, with AJ, that he's kind of gonna be someone who just kind of goes right to the main roster because he's older than those guys. He's a little bit more solidified in his past.
And he's been working on American TV for like 100 years. He don't really need to know none of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like, right.
How you feel about TNA, man? You didn't bring TNA up.
TNA. This is the thing about TNA. They just like I said, they just recently got this new TV deal on Pop TV. And the first 2 weeks have actually been the best programming that they've done in a while. When they were on Destination America, it was like really a lot of the storylines and whatnot was very confusing. Their pay-per-views are complete trash. They don't make any sense in comparison to into the regular TV. But I feel like these past the first 2 weeks they've been on Pop TV, they sort of dialed it back a little bit because one of the things that was most annoying to me about that product is that it was like the whole product was like in your face totally. Like the announcers were like so like hyped up that you're like, dude, chill. Like chill, man.
Yeah.
That the announcers, Josh Matthews and the Pope, I was like, I hate these guys. I hate listening to these guys. But these first couple of weeks on Pop TV, they actually like sort of dialed it back, and it's sort of like more enjoyable. They're kind of referencing stuff from last year, but they're kind of bringing up newer stuff now.
Okay.
And it's really good. Are you familiar with Mike Bennett?
Nah, yo, I don't know shit about TNA, man.
Mike Bennett actually came from Ring of Honor.
Okay, all right. I'm like, I don't really know a lot of ROH dudes. You know what I'm saying? I know once they blow, and then I go back and look at their shit.
Yeah, Mike Bennett was in Ring of Honor as a part of this crew called the Kingdom.
I heard of the Kingdom. Yeah.
Do you remember Maria from WWE?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's his wife.
All right. It was Maria Kanellis.
Yeah.
Kanellis? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's his wife, and she
All right.
them two went to TNA, and he
All
just
right.
premiered on there, and he has this this sort of gimmick as like being the miracle of pro wrestling, and it's actually really fucking cool, man.
Oh, word. I'm gonna check it out. I don't have Pop TV though, so I gotta YouTube it.
Yeah, there's clips and stuff online and stuff, but there's it's I'm very optimistic. TNA's always been that thing where it's just like people are waiting for it to like sort of either die or solidify more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
They
recently,
had a good window, but they fucked it up bringing in all old ass wrestlers. Man.
that's what really turned it off for me all those years, because every time I turned it on, I would just see all these old guys in suits yammering to each other, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, dudes can't even take bumps no more. Motherfuckers can't even bend their knees. Like, let it go. You know what I mean? Like, let it go.
But the crazy thing was, if you got past all that mush of like the old dudes, like the younger like X Division guys were were incredible. You know, you had AJ Styles, you had Hero and Sabin, and you had Sanjay Dutt. You had all these guys that were just having these incredible matches on a weekly basis, you know?
And they just getting buried by like Scott Hall stumbling out and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's why I never watched it, because I was just like, oh, they bugging. Like, they're bugging. You know what I'm saying?
The X Division in TNA all those years was very reminiscent of that cruiserweight division in WCW.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where it was just like, we all love those cruiserweight matches, but to a certain extent, they didn't get all the respect in comparison to the heavyweights and the bigger
and the heavyweight
guys.
matches. If you go back and I know you got the network.
Yeah.
A lot of the matches was trash, dude.
Very trash.
Trash.
There's a lot of trash matches. Some of the big guys, man. Oh my.
Man. Especially like when they all winding down, like 99. Like you got Macho Man. Like yo, dudes was in there putting in some trash matches. Like what is this? You know, the dudes that really, to me, how do you feel about Bray? I don't know. That just popped in my head. How do you feel about Bray Wyatt?
I love Bray Wyatt. He's one of my favorites. But I've hated what they've been doing with him. He, like, for so long, he was like, when he first came out, he was like just, killing shit when he first came up to the main roster. And then afterwards, when he was really they're starting to push this the new face of fear, he kept losing. And how could you be the new face of fear if you keep losing, you know?
Yeah, and they dropped that real quick. Like, they forgot they even had that out. Like, to me, they just fumbling that kid, man. That dude is ill. He's ill, man. Like, he deserves so much more.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing is, the moment in time when it should have all happened is he should have beat The Undertaker.
Absolutely. But they was back into a corner because they couldn't have The Undertaker lose 2 years in a row.
Right. But he should have.
They shouldn't even have did it. That's my thing.
Yeah, they shouldn't have even done it then, you know? They should have done it at another pay-per-view and had Undertaker put Bray Wyatt over. And then,
even if he would have put him over and then get his win back, right?
Yeah, definitely. But
I wouldn't have been mad at that.
But they should have had Bray Wyatt beat The Undertaker, and it would have made everything make sense.
Yep. They would have erased all his losses, so.
Right. It would have made everything make sense.
But you know who they did let him beat? Only person he beat was Daniel Bryan.
Right, of course.
Yeah, he did. Like, yo, and that match was crazy. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
It was Royal Rumble last year. Yeah, no, the year before last, I believe. Yeah. And that match was amazing, man. That's one of my favorite matches in the past couple years. But yeah, he beat D. Bryan, no problem. 1, 2, 3. right in the middle.
Of course, because
you know what I'm saying?
I feel like with cats like Daniel Bryan and even like CM Punk, the way that the crowd, the audience, kind of made those guys, like forced the WWE to like fuck with them. It kind
And
of
how you
like
gotta force somebody? You know that shit is so insane to me. Like
right.
we gotta force you to make like I like them. Just do it. Like what is there to? Shit is crazy. And now they trying to force Roman. Like I feel like that's how they did this, like a reverse forcible. Like
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like
It's crazy the impact that cats like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan had. It's to the point where chants for those guys still happen to this day.
yeah, man, and they're gonna always happen.
And that is so, when something like that happens, it's so special, and you would think that you would want to like cash in on that.
Nah, they don't want that. That's like when people like The Rock, they be like, nah, fuck The Rock, man. You going with Billy Gunn, man. He looks better, man. Like, you know, like imagine that shit. You know, that shit is crazy to me.
Right. And,
I don't understand it.
And another thing about The Rock was too, like, he popped off so hard, but he was somebody that was able to get a lot of people over too, or at least try.
Yo, he never cared about losing. He always lost.
The
Rock used to stake in his ass for. He never cared.
He took a lot of L's, man.
Yo, I remember when Goldberg came, Goldberg beat the shit out of him. I think it's like, I forgot what event that was.
Right.
Goldberg beat the shit out of him. That's when he was like Hollywood Rock, and he just talking mad shit.
Right.
Goldberg whooped his ass, like, and he lost. He didn't care. Like, it didn't affect him. I just feel like somebody like Punk, they never met, like D-Bride. They don't care because they know, like, people love them. Like, if they lose, it don't matter to them. Like, because they know, like, they'll just come out, say some shit the next day. Everybody forget they even lost, you know? Like, I don't like dudes that don't be want to lose and shit. Like, oh, man, let the young guys come up, you know?
Yeah, and...
Like, oh, what was you going to say?
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, there's a lot... I feel like there's a time when, like, right now that needs to happen. There's these older guys that kind of need to sort of put over these younger guys, you know?
Yeah. Even like with Seth, you know, like he lost. He had the belt and he was losing like every fucking match, dude.
Right.
That shit was crazy to me. Because, you know, I stopped watching wrestling for like 10 years. You know what I mean? Like I stopped watching like 2002. And I just came back maybe like 3 years now, you know?
I kind of was like the same way. I like around that 2001, 2002 era, I was just like...
Once I saw Cena, I stopped watching wrestling.
The funny thing is, right now, I'm like on the network. I'm going back, starting in like 2001, and watching the WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And it's funny. The first part of 2001 is actually really good, but then when they start doing the WCW invasion angle, just went to shit. And I'm like, how did this product go so horribly so quick, you know? And
to me, once they so you stopped. When did you stop watching exactly? Once WCW died, you was like, fuck it.
It was shortly after that, because I watched all that, and the funny thing is that like I'm going back and watching some of the stuff, and I don't even remember it, even though I was watching it.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was like I totally forgot about like a lot of like the hardcore division stuff in both the WCW and WWF. And I'm like, shit, I remember this. I remember when they just brought all the ECW guys over. Like, but
I stopped watching a little after that. You know when I stopped? When they split when they had like one side for Raw, one side for SmackDown. Like
that was around the same time I did. I thought that was, in theory, that's kind of it can be a good idea, but I feel like they executed it really wrong.
Yeah. That turned me off. I was like, man, fuck this shit.
Because there's definitely ways that you can make the whole brand split thing kind of happen. And
they need to do it now, though.
Yeah, and they could do it right now, and it might benefit. Have you been watching any of the new SmackDowns on USA?
No, I haven't watched it yet. But I heard the announcer's really good. Ronaldo?
Yeah, Mauro Ronaldo. Yeah. He's come from like an MMA background. He used to he did all the announcing for the New Japan Pro Wrestling shows on Access TV.
Yeah.
And he brings something totally amazing to that show. It's so much more entertaining, you know. And I was so happy when I heard that he was going to be a part of SmackDown, because I was already a fan of his, and that sort of announcing aspect to wrestling really helps you get into these matches, and I feel like he's someone that can really help you sell the matches.
Yeah, you need that, man. These dudes suck.
They're putting so much crap, like giving so much instructions to all the other announcers, like Michael Cole and all them, with all these different things about social media and all these branding and marketing things, that they can't even like properly just call the match, you know. And people like that, you know. Back when you had like, you know, all the great like announcing teams of the, you know, back in the day, you know, when you had King and JR, even with like when Heyman was a part of it, or Taz was a part of it, or even way back with like Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body, and even when Vince was doing it, man, you were just like, those announcers were such a vital part of the whole experience, you know.
Yeah, now it's like they like, I don't know, it's just neutered. It's very neutered, man.
Yeah, but I feel like with Mauro Ranallo, he really kind of brings that sort of like old school kind of flavor, and he's really knowledgeable about the whole fighting world, and his roots are in wrestling. The first, you know, like announcing that he did was in wrestling. I think it was Stu Hart's old Stampede Wrestling that he first announced.
Oh, he's an older dude.
Yeah, he's like in his late 40s, I think. So when he was really young, he was actually doing like Stampede Wrestling and stuff like that. He's maybe like late 40s, early 50s, or something like that. But he's been like so much a part of just all sorts of different sort of wrestling and fighting, that he's very knowledgeable about like everything. So he
knows how to. I gotta watch him. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, like SmackDown is so much better now. Like for a while, SmackDown was just sort of like that other thing.
It doesn't even make sense to watch that. It's like main event or some shit.
Right, it was getting like that, but I feel like it's a bit better now, and I feel like they're bringing a little bit more thought into that show, which is really good, you know. So, you know, hopefully, you know, that continues and they kind of help the, you know, storylines. But
all
like,
right, so one question, and I gotta go.
Okay.
Who's the greatest? Who's the greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time? For me, I would go with, off the top of my head, Steve Austin.
All right, so can't even disagree with you, man. I want to disagree with it.
I think with Steve Austin, it was just like anytime he just presented himself, like just everything was just better. Everything was just exciting, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And you could just... It just made everything better, and it was just like... You knew, you know, when he was around, somebody was going to get their ass kicked, you know?
Yeah.
You knew something...
You took him serious.
Something was going to happen, and he was very quick-witted with everything, that it made everything sort of... And so many things stuck. Like, people still do the what to this day.
Sure.
and
he was fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, he was just hilarious. So I really think that, you know, he's probably the greatest. I mean, there's a lot of people that you can say is the greatest, but that would be who I would think, you know. Who's yours?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Stone Cold, man, all day, by far. I mean, he'll never be topped, ever. And I know a lot of people say The Rock, but I don't think The Rock was good as Stone Cold.
Nah, no, he's definitely up there, along with someone like Ric Flair also.
Yeah. I would put Hogan, The Rock, and Stone Cold as like the Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? Wrestling, but I don't know who I would have as the fourth person. I can't decide on that one. But Yeah, The Rock, he was good, but Stone Cold, he's just the best out of me.
I think
Like,
I think
I just
if
love
you
that
want to
dude.
put like that wrestling, Mount Rushmore, I think that you could put Ric Flair up there
Yeah, I think so too.
because of everything
I wouldn't be mad at him.
he was the one guy that came from a whole sort of territory part of wrestling that, and I think this sort of ideal needs to come back where he would go to other territories and make their top guy look good, but still have the victory, leave out with his belt, but make their top guy look good and get him
Yeah, sure.
over more.
Ric Flair's like the LL Cool J. Like, he's like he's been in every era killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like the LL of wrestling. He could be the greatest, but nobody really says it. But he kind of is, but he isn't. It's weird.
Plus, he was always just great. Like, all of his promos were just so. I could sit on YouTube and watch those all day.
Yeah.
All the Space Mountain, all that shit. Like, just the whole idea of him being just this guy that looks like $1 million at all the times.
Yeah, he's a straight player too. Had the ladies.
Yeah.
I heard something was saying how he's wasted so much bread, like playing the character, like he really was doing all that shit, like.
Yeah, him. If you on the newest like Stone Cold podcast that they did on the network, he was talking on there how him and Dusty Rhodes would battle back and forth about who could kind of like outdo each other. If like one bought a house here, the other would buy a bigger house.
That's crazy.
If one bought a Cadillac, they would buy a bigger Cadillac. One bought one.
It was flexing.
Yeah, they were them two back and forth, man. But there was times when he got into like huge debt, And,
yeah, I know. He got I read about that. I forgot. I think I read like on one of those Did You Knows, like he like blew a lot of paper, and I think Vince gave it back or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Vince got that money.
Yeah, he said in the podcast that he was up to like $800,000 in debt to Vince.
That's crazy.
And there was at a point where Vince was just kind of gonna write it off, but then once Ric Flair got a check from like one of those big matches, he just basically just gave it right back. He's like, I want to pay you back.
Yeah, that's noble.
Yeah, he's like, I don't, I want to be a stand-up guy and pay you back, but yeah, he was. There was times when he was like really in it, really in debt,
Too much minks, man.
Right.
Too much fur coats, man. But yo, man, it's been great kicking it with you, but I gotta skedaddle, man. Oh,
no doubt, man. But thanks for taking time to do this podcast. This is like the perfect episode for my podcast,
All right, cool, man. I hope it's a classic, man.
Definitely, man. Yeah, let's definitely stay in touch, man. I definitely want to be able to talk with you again.
Text me during the Rumble. We can talk shit and all that.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. You have a good day.
All right, you too.
All right, peace. All right, well, that was my wrestling talk with Mr. Motherfucking eXquire. It's so cool to talk. Like I said, he's one of my favorite rappers from the past 5 years or so. So it was really cool to just shoot the shit about wrestling. I know he's a big wrestling fan. Go support this dude, man. He has a lot of material out, and a lot of it you can get for free. He's hooked up his fans so hard over the years. Go download some shit. Find the shit that you can purchase and purchase it. Hook him up, man. Just support Mr. Motherfucking eXquire. And apparently he does have a new project coming out soon, and so be on the lookout for that. And hopefully I can get him on the show on a regular basis to talk about wrestling. That would be my hope. So maybe look out for another episode in the near future with Mr. Motherfucking eXquire, because that would be fucking awesome. If you'd like to support the Fresh is the Word podcast, you can go to our website, which is freshasthepodcast.com, and there's a link at the top that says support the podcast. And on that page, there is a PayPal link that you can donate to, or there is a Amazon link on there that you can use anytime that you want to purchase anything on Amazon. Use that link, And after you make your purchases, Amazon will shoot some commission back to me. I'll just go to help the show. Also, I definitely appreciate all the listens, and if you definitely want to share the links to the website, freshasthepodcast.com, or any of the links on SoundCloud, that's definitely appreciated and will definitely help support the podcast. You can also reach Fresh as the Word on the social medias at Instagram and Twitter at Fresh as the Word 1. That's Fresh as the Word number 1. And on Facebook, you can go to facebook.com/freshasthepodcast and give us a like on that page. We're also on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, so go ahead and search Fresh as the Word on there and go ahead and subscribe to us. And it also would be very helpful if you go onto iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and throw some comments on there. Thanks for listening. See you soon.
Fresh is the word.